Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this video, we are going to look at the key stats that you need in every position for your players on Ultimate Team. Quite often, I see people using teams with some strange choices or using players that realistically in real football should be really good, but it doesn't always transition that way to the virtual pitch. So I'm here to show you some of the key stats you need for your team in Ultimate Team. And it should help you to be able to build smarter, better teams that are going to help you compete more in FIFA. So there is like a way of playing on FIFA that tends to work most years. So far this game seems a bit more balanced than most FIFAs and you're not forced quite as much to use certain player types, but there is still some certain stats you want. Obviously I've got a very good team here, but I'm going to talk you through stats that are going to help you anyway, that you can use players who aren't going to cost anywhere near this much, but they're still going to be really good. So with keeper, ideally I want someone who's 6'2" or above. 6'4" I think is my favourite height for a keeper on FIFA, but 6'2" plus is fine. The taller they get, sometimes they can struggle with shots on the ground because they struggle to get low. But for the most part, 6'2" and above is fine. If they're too small, they just get beat too easy by long shots and finesses. Probably the most important stat I would say would be reflexes, then diving. I'm never too sure if position makes a huge difference or not. You can move the keeper with the right stick anyway. Handling's nice, but I feel like certain shots just will get rebounded regardless of the handling. And then kicking, I don't know how big a difference it makes or not. Nice to have it higher anyway for distribution. And I do like the long throw trait so you can quickly throw it out. For centre backs, I want at least 3-star weak foot ideally. Weak foot, the least important position that matters outfield is at centre back. Simply put, at centre back, as long as you keep it simple, it's not too often you're going to want a centre back to play a really good through ball or a crazy long pass. Centre backs for the most part don't need crazy passing, they just need okay enough passing that you can get away with it and play safe. Ideally, I want my centre-back to be 6 foot or bigger. Some of the smaller centre-backs, like Carlos Alberto or Cannavaro and the Icons, they can get away with it, but they just don't feel quite as physically dominant. They don't have the big body types that win the tackle. So it's not just the literal attributes, it is also the work rates, the weak foots, height, body builds. You have to look for these in game, but sometimes the small centre-backs are a bit more agile. But I want 6 foot plus. Heading does matter more on FIFA 21, so you don't want a centre-back who's too small, who's going to get beat too consistently. 6'1" medium high is pretty nice. I don't want higher attacking work rates than defensive. Pace is really important this year, so for chemistry I always pretty much go a shadow on my centre-backs, because at this point in the game no centre-backs are close to 99 pace with an anchor. So I want really high pace because everyone's just playing lots of through balls, playing pacey attackers, and if you don't have enough pace at centre back, you're going to get screwed over a lot. It's really important to have pace. 70 passing, not like the way it says 61 passing, but 70 passing on the short pass, long pass is fine. Agility balance is nice, but it's not too big a deal as long as it's not really low, where they might struggle by getting turned quick. And then obviously the defending stats, we want them as high as possible. Anything 80 plus is pretty good. Stamina, it doesn't matter too much at centre back because they don't lose stamina much. The jumping stat, it doesn't matter that much if they're really tall. So if they're 6'4" and they have 70 jumping, they'd be fine. But if they're 6 foot with 70 jumping, they might struggle in the air. Ideally, you want someone who can deal with some of the players like CR7, who can dominate centre backs who aren't good in the air. Anything above 8 strength and aggression at this point in the game is really solid, but later on we're going to start to want higher stats across the board there. So that's centre backs. Full backs, weak foot is nice, but it's a bonus. One of the reasons Mendy's so good is just he has a bit of everything. Skill moves isn't a big deal at full back. 4 stars nice for the scoop turn, but I don't really care too much about skills at full back. It's not really where you should be trying it. Weak foot's nice so you can play out the back a bit more. The main stats you want at fullback though are pace. You want 90 plus pace. High 80s is good still, but 90 plus pace is really nice. Higher physicals are always nice to do with wingers. A lot of the wingers aren't always going to be as good physically, so high physicals on a fullback means you can bully people. And then you want fullbacks who have decent enough defending, but it's not quite as big as at centre-back. Good dribbling, not amazing dribbling, not good enough that they're not going to feel clunky or bad on the ball. And nice passing is good for being able to play through balls down the line. For defensive midfielders, Patrick Vieira would be like your archetype. So by that I mean the ideal one who just has the key stats. Tall defensive midfielders are quite nice, but if you have small ones like Kante or Alan, who are pretty quick and have high aggression, they can get away with it. They're pretty nippy. But my favourite CDMs on FIFA still are the tall, big physical ones, big body types. Weak foot and skills doesn't really matter, it's just a bonus. You still want good pace. Pace is really good on this year's game, even more than previous FIFA, so higher pace is really nice to keep up with people. I don't really care about shooting on my defensive midfielders. 80 plus vision, short pass and long pass is nice. I don't think curve's that big a stat. This year, dribbling stats don't seem quite as important for midfielders. You have a bit more time and space on the ball. As long as they're not really low, they still feel good on the ball. Reactions, I think, is quite nice for dealing with 50-50s. And then the key defensive stats would be interceptions, defensive awareness and standing tackles, so the higher the better. Stamina is really nice because you want players who are going to be able to run a lot. If they're tall with good jumping, that's always a bonus. And then strength and aggression are really big. The smaller CDMs, like I said, Kante and Allen, strength isn't quite as big because they're not so much about bullying players, they're more about they're just constantly nipping in, they can quickly turn and get tackles. Centre mids, the dream ones are players like Zidane, De Bruyne, they're good at everything. They might not have really high defending, but they still got 60 to 70 on a lot of the stats. They're not going to be rapid on the pace, but they're pretty quick. They're going to have good shooting. They don't have to be all in the 90s, but they're going to be good enough all around that if they get a chance, they can shoot. Obviously, Zidane's going to have insane passing, but you want probably 80 plus passing on most of your centre mid stats. The dribbling stat, as in where Zidane says 94 dribbling, that seems to matter a lot more this year. Whereas last year, agility and balance mattered more, but high dribbling, if they've got good dribbling, then they're going to be pretty good, even if their agility and balance isn't the best. Ball control's nice, so they have a good first touch to quickly pass it. And then good, solid physical stats are really nice, because they're just going to get involved in 50-50s in the middle. But for centre mids, out of any position, it's the most important where you have good stats all around, because centre mids in the middle of the pitch need to do a bit of everything. Obviously, if you look at my team, it's a pretty insane team. But you can see it in the different positions as I explain it. I've got a mix of all the different right types of stats in the right positions. Okay, for attacking midfielder, a perfect player would be someone like Neymar. High weak foot is nice. To be honest as well, weak foot is nice at centre mid. You don't want anything below 3-star, and 4-star plus is really nice at centre mid. In the attacking positions, I genuinely, for the most part, want 4-star plus. 3-star in the attacking positions is starting to be a bit of an issue, weak foot, simply because you're just going to struggle with your shooting if people can put you onto 1 foot. Having a higher weak foot makes you more unpredictable, but 4-star is a lot more viable this year than it was on last FIFA. On last FIFA, 4-star generally wasn't good enough as the year went on. You wanted 5-star, but this year it's a lot better. 4-star skill moves is really nice for the scoop turn. If you can get 5-star skill move players though, and there's not loads of them, then it's amazing because you can do the running scoop turn. High pace is nice at cam, but it's not quite as essential. And then we want good finishing, good movement, high vision, short pass, and then obviously very good dribbling. So agility, dribbling, ball control, stats like that are really important. Mbappe is a great striker, but he's also an amazing player at left mid on the wing. You really want at least 4-star skills, weak foot out wide. Really high pace is massive out wide on this game just to beat people. I've played against people using fullbacks like Carvajal, who's one of the better fullbacks on the game, and I've had goals where I've just through-balled it in behind and Mbappe just absolutely burns them. Yes, Mbappe is insane and one of the most expensive players in the game, but you can do that with somebody like Adama Traore. He's 30,000 coins and just as quick. Pace out wide is the most important stat. Pretty good finishing's nice. Good enough passing, so we're talking around 80 passing, so the passing's not going to be too bad for the cutbacks. And then good agility, good dribbling, balance, Nice ball control is always good. And then decent physicals out wide is always a bonus because it means that you can bully fullbacks a bit. For striker, there's two types of strikers. You either want every striker on this game you want to be fast, because pace and getting in behind is just so strong at this point. At this point in the game, pace and through balls in behind is the best way of scoring. Strength and good strikers in the air though are really nice. CR7's obviously a perfect mix of everything. You need pretty much at least 4-star weak foot and skills up front. 5-star weak foot is beautiful to have, but I think on this game, for the first time in a while, I think 5-star skill moves matters more than the weak foot, because the running scoop turn's really nice. You want at least 85 plus pace, 85 plus finishing, and shot power's big. Shot power matters more than people think, because shot power basically means if you hit it in the right position, if the shot power's high enough, the keeper's going to get beat. 75 to 80 plus on the short pass and vision stats are really nice, just so the link-up play isn't going to break down because your striker can't pass. I think the dribbling stats the most important for strikers. Composure is really nice, so it means when the centre-back's name, they still finish well. Agility and balance is pretty nice. Heading's a nice stat to have this year just because it feels a lot better. Someone like CR7's going to be amazing at 6'2", great jumping. Strength's really useful, simply because it just helps you deal with centre-backs. And the other type of striker you want, they don't have to be really strong, but really quick, very good dribblers. You can just play lots of through balls to them. People like Pele are that type of striker, they're going to be very good. Those are all the key stats. I think you can see like the positions I've picked my players in, what I've gone for. There's certain icons who are expensive who I don't always think are worth the coins. We might do videos in the future for you looking at some of the best value players that fit these stats but are a lot cheaper, that more affordable. Hope you've enjoyed these videos, boys. Thank you very much for watching and supporting.